What is going on, everybody, and welcome back to the Ultimate Beginner's Guide to Bossing series. In this episode, I'm going to be showing you guys two different ways to kill the wilderness boss Callisto. Now, Callisto isn't exactly a hard boss to fight unless you decide to take the fight head on, which, let's be realistic, it's going to be a waste of your time and your valuable supplies. So what I am going to be showing you guys is two different safe spots that you can use, one generally used for melee and one generally used for ranging, and these will make your life a hell of a lot easier. So, if you're not sure about Callisto, you've never been out there, or you don't even know what Callisto is, and you're trying to find out, well, Callisto is a wilderness boss, and Callisto is located pretty deep in the wilderness, so you're going to have to be very wary of PKers. Now, there's going to be a few different ways that you can get to Callisto. The first and fastest way is going to be with the Wilderness Sword 4. The Wilderness Sword 4 will provide you with unlimited teleports to the Fountain of Ruin, and Callisto is just a short run to the southwest from there. The next method to get there, which might be a little bit longer, but it's pretty equidistant honestly, is going to be the Anakarl teleport. The Anakarl teleport will take you to the demonic ruins in the wilderness, and from here you're going to want to run east, then south, and then to the west, and you will find Callisto roaming around. Next method, and not quite as dangerous as the other ones, is going to be using the Wilderness Canoe, which you can catch from Edgeville. You will need an axe to use this. You can take it to the Wilderness Pond somewhere in 30-35 Wilderness, and from here you're going to want to run directly to the east. You will have to watch out for Vedion because you will be running through Vedion's area. And the last method to get there, which is probably the most dangerous in my opinion, is going to be using a burning amulet to teleport to the Chaos Altar. You will run slightly north to the Wilderness Obelisk, take that teleport until you can get up to level 50 Wilderness, and then you're going to want to run to the east, through the gate, south, and then west to find Callisto. Now, before I pull up Callisto's stats on the screen, Callisto is a monster. This boss is ridiculously tanky and can do a hell of a lot of damage to you if you're not paying attention. Callisto is a big bear with a combat level of 470 with a hit points level of 255. Now, as for the max hits, Callisto does use a melee attack which is in the crush form, but it will hit you 50 for melee attacks if you're not protecting from melee. If you are protecting from melee, you will still have to worry about a special attack which can hit up to 60 through melee. Now, Callisto's weakness actually is slash, but because of that level 440 defense, Callisto is going to be pretty impregnable even if you are using one of the best slash weapons in the game. And I want to strongly deter you from trying to use a Scythe of Viggora out here in the wilderness, because you can easily get skull tricked if somebody runs under Callisto, as the Scythe of Viggora does hit for 3 spots. So if somebody runs under Callisto while you're swinging that scythe, you are immediately skulled, and you're probably not going to know what to do if you get smited and lose that Scythe of Viggora. Fortunately, we are going to be safe spotting Callisto, so we won't really need to worry about a lot of damage, maybe just a little bit of damage while we're luring Callisto to the safe spots. So as for the combat stats, Callisto has an attack level of 350, strength level of 370, and a defense level of 440. Now, this is the wilderness, so we're probably not going to be one of taking our Dragon Warhammer or Bandos Godsword out there, but there is a way around that, and we'll get to that soon. As for the defensive stats, plus 135 to stab, plus 104 to slash, plus 175 to crush, plus 900 to magic, and plus 230 to ranged. Alright, because of those combat stats that Callisto has, I am going to have some level requirements for you guys that you might want to take a little bit of interest in. So I'm going to be showing you guys 3 methods. One is going to be with Verac's armor set, 2 is going to be with Viggora's Chainmace, and the third is going to be a ranging method. So as for the first method, as far as this goes, for your combat stats, you're going to want to have at least a level 70 defense, because this is what is required for the Verac's armor set. But as for attack and strength, you're going to want to be a little bit higher than that. You are going to want to try to hit as much as possible, so I am going to recommend you have an attack and strength level of at least level 80. Along with this, you are also going to want to have at least a level 70 prayer for the Piety Prayer to give you that extra boost on your stats. As for the Viggora's Chainmace method, although this weapon only requires level 60 attack to wield, I am still going to suggest that you have an attack and strength level of, once again, level 80. As far as the defense level goes, defense is not required to use this weapon, so you could actually do this as a level 1 defense pure. If you do have a higher defense level, that's fine. I'm still going to suggest that you also have level 70 prayer for the Piety prayer to get that extra damage boost on top of the wilderness boost that this Viggora's Chainmace gives. And as for the third method and the suggested requirements, this is going to be the ranging method, and I'm going to suggest that you have at least a ranging level of 75, so your hits are at least decent. And you're also going to want to have a prayer level of at least level 44, and that is for the Eagle Eye. If you do have higher prayer and you can use rigor, by all means that is great, but at a bare minimum, level 44 for the Eagle Eye prayer. So now we can go ahead and start getting into the inventory setups and how to kill Callisto. As you'll notice here, I am wearing a full Verac's armor set, and the reason that we're going to be using this is because of that set effect. The Verac set effect allows you to ignore all defense bonuses, hit through protection prayers, and ignore all defense levels. 1 in 4 times, which is your chances of proccing this special effect, you're going to be able to hit through all of Callisto's defenses and hit normally as if nothing was there. As for the rest of my gear setup, I'm going with the Myth's Cape, which is pretty good for crush attack styles, but if you don't have one of these, you might want to use a Legends Cape, or you can also use a God Cape, an Amulet of Glory, 20 bronze arrows, rune gloves, and climbing boots because we are in the wilderness and I don't want to risk more than I have to. And in my ring slot, I am using an Explorer's Ring because it gives a additional +1 prayer, and if I lose it, I can go back and reclaim it for free. Over in my inventory, I am set up with 1 prayer potion, 1 Ceradomin brew, 1 super restore, 3 prayer potions, 2 angler fish, 17 sharks, and as for the rest of the items, I have a Rada's blessing in there, which is a reward from the Korend and Kibos diaries, which will additionally give me more prayer bonus. I also have a magic longbow because the magic longbow is what we're going to be using to lure Callisto to the safe spot, and I have my wilderness sword, which is going to teleport me to the Fountain of Ruin to get me there quickly. Obviously, if you don't have that wilderness sword you're going to want to use the Anakarl teleport or one of the other methods that I mentioned earlier. So this next method is going to be a little bit more expensive than the past method that I did with Verac, but it's still somewhat affordable. The Viggora's Chainmace is a wilderness weapon that will deal an additional 50% melee accuracy and damage when it is applied while attacking any NPC in the wilderness. Now this weapon will need to be charged with Revenant Ether, and you need a minimum of 1000 Ether to charge this weapon. Currently, the Chainmace is at about 8.5 mil GP on the Grand Exchange, so it's somewhat affordable, but if you can't afford this, you can always use the Verac's method. But as for this setup, I am going to be going with the Helm of Nitznot, once again the Myth's Cape because the Viggora's Chainmace is a crush weapon, an Amulet of Glory, bronze arrows for the lure, obviously the Viggora's Chainmace, black D-hide top and legs, Dragon Defender, Barrow's gloves, climbing boots, and once again that Explorer's Ring. Now this setup here, even without the protect item spell on, I am able to protect the Barrow's gloves, the Dragon Defender, and the Viggora's Chainmace. If you so choose and you have a better amulet to use, you can use an Amulet of Fury or Torture. With that protect item spot on, you will protect those 4 items. As for me, I'm not going to risk it, and I'm just going to go with the Glory Amulet. As for the inventory, short and sweet, no changes there from the past setup with the Verac setup. Everything is going to remain exactly the same. And last but not least, for the gear setups, I'm going to be taking you guys through the range method. Now this method is actually the safest because the safe spot that I'm going to use for this is actually going to be in single combat. So you're not going to have to worry about multiple PKers being on you at once, and the safe spot is in level 37 wilderness, making you that much closer to escaping and teleporting away. Now for the sake of actually being cheap and showing you guys that this can be done with cheaper gear, I am going with cheaper gear here. So for this setup, I'm going with an Archer's Helm, an Ava's Assembler, but if you only have the Accumulator, that's fine too, an Amulet of Glory, Ruby Bolts E, a Rune Crossbow, a Book of Law, which boosts my range attack bonus, black dragon hide top and bottom, Barrow's gloves, snakeskin boots, and once again that explorer's ring for the extra prayer bonus. Now, in this case, if you are protecting items, whatever you decide you want to bring to protect, you can certainly swap out the Amulet of Glory for a Fury or a Necklace of Anguish. You can also swap out the crossbow for any other crossbow or the crossbow if you can afford it, and the boots you can obviously swap out for Pegasian boots if you can afford those and you want to risk bringing them to the wilderness. But even still, that weapon, the amulet, and the boots, all three of those, that's 3 items, so if you are not skulled, you have nothing to worry about. Over in the inventory, I've replaced the Super Combat Potion with a Ranging Potion. I still have my Ceradomin Brew, Super Restore, and 3 Prayer Potions, 2 Anglerfish, 18 Sharks, and I also have some Diamond Bolts E in there because that special attack does also ignore defense, similar to the Verac set effect. I also have my Wilderness Sword to help me get there quicker. Alright, so I think that is going to be it before we go ahead and get into walking you guys through each one of these methods with a kill. If you want to check the description below, you can check out the timestamps to take you to which method that you are actually looking for if you don't want to use all 3 or see all 3. So here we go, guys. Alright, so we are ready to go ahead and get into a kill with the Verac setup. So first thing I'm going to do, teleport to the wilderness at the Fountain of Ruin, get my protect item on. Okay, so luckily there's nobody here right now, so I'm going to go ahead and run over to the Callisto pit. Fast forward, I'll see you guys when I get there. Alright, so I'm getting close to the Callisto pit. I'm going to go ahead, throw on my magic longbow, make sure I am on long range, and step up until I can see Callisto. I'm going to shoot Callisto once, and I'm going to retreat back to the east. Now, as I run back to the east, I'm going to watch these trees here, and once I get to the last tree in this line, I'm going to come here and stand behind it. Now, what this is going to allow you to do is going to lure Callisto over in this direction. You can see him there now. What I'm going to do from here, make sure I have my flail back equipped, and I'm going to start to run towards the north. Protect from melee on. Unfortunately, it might not help that much. Sometimes you take a hit here, and sometimes you don't. As I'm running to the north, I want to keep an eye out right here in this area for this X. Stand right in the middle of this here on these rocks, and you're going to wait for Callisto to get up here. Once you see him there, you can run back here and just run to the east side of Callisto. Now he's going to be stuck there, and now I am free to just sit here and whack on him. So the lure is actually the most annoying part of Callisto, but once you get Callisto into this position, you really don't have to worry about anything. The most important thing I can stress to you guys is actually to just keep an eye on your minimap for white dots so you can spot out some PKers. Because you're not being able to be attacked here by Callisto, you can log out before the PKers can even get to you. So you're not under combat. Oh, somebody coming by charging some glories. But yeah, like I said, you can just stand here, wail on Callisto. Now, unfortunately, this method does take a while, and that is because of that defense level, so really you're depending on those Verac's hits. So I'm going to go ahead and fast forward through the rest of this kill, and that's going to be it. So I'm going to go ahead and show you guys a Viggora's Chainmace kill, and this lure is going to be just a little bit different. There's only one extra step, which I will show you guys when I get there. Alright, so remember that tree we were at? Well, when you're doing it this way, you are going to have an offhand, which is the Dragon Defender. So you're going to want to drop a shark here so you can equip your magic longbow. And then from here, you're just going to want to go ahead and proceed with the lure. Make sure you're on long range. Run up, poke Callisto once, and then retreat back to your safe spot. Unfortunately, he's walking away from me and pummeling me as he is. Once you get back to your safe spot, put your stuff on and pick up your shark or whatever kind of food you brought and just wait for him. Make sure your HP is a little bit higher than 63 because you don't want to be getting blasted. So I'm going to go ahead and run up here to the safe spot once again. Find the X, click in the middle of it, and then I am going to patiently wait for Callisto to show up down here on the screen. And as he does, I'm going to run over back to the east side of him, get him stuck, and continue on my merry way. Alright, so that kill is done. Now, in my humble opinion, I still prefer the Verac method because you do have that 25% chance. 1 in every 4 hits you're going to hit through the defense of Callisto. The Viggora's Chainmace is good and it can hit very high, but honestly, the kills are right around the same time, and I'm max stats, so using either method is going to be fine for me. But if you're a little low on cash, probably going to want to go with the Veracs because it is that much cheaper. Alright, so last lure here, and this is going to be the ranging lure. And like I said earlier, this one is a little bit safer because you will be standing in a single combat zone rather than multi-combat. Now, as for me personally, I don't range Callisto. The crossbow is pretty expensive, but it is pretty effective. But I pretty much just always go with the Verac's method at the north safe spot. I'm not risking much, so if I die, I'm not really concerned. But let's go ahead and get started. I'm going to go ahead and teleport out to the wilderness and show you guys this other lure. Alright, so I'm ready to start the lure. Got my long range on. I am going to run up range pot real quick. And once I get over here and see Callisto, I'm going to go ahead and poke him once, run back, and I'm going to wait. As for this lure, we're not going to want to use this tree again. We're going to run here on this square, this little rocky outcrop right here. And we're just going to angle our camera down so we can see when Callisto is coming. As soon as you see Callisto come on your screen, we're going to click down here and we're going to run behind this rocky outcrop here. Then we're going to come this way and you're going to want to mark this tree stump here. You go ahead, mark that tile, walk one spot over, and Callisto is now safe spotted. So I'm going to come up here, stand behind these skeletons, and I'm going to range away. So I do have the ruby bolts equipped and I hit a 50 there, so after a couple of ruby bolt hits, you're probably going to want to go ahead and switch over to the diamond bolts. The ruby bolts do proc off of how much HP the NPC does have remaining. So just for the sake of this video, I'm going to go ahead and switch over to the diamond bolts. Stand here and you can range away as many times as your heart desires. Callisto is honestly that easy. There are so many safe spots that you have available to you to get some pretty much free loot here, as long as you don't see any PKers. And like I said earlier, I'm actually in level 40 wilderness. I thought it was around 37. I was wrong, but you can see we are in single combat, so we are pretty safe. And level 30 wilderness and a glory teleport is just a short run south. Alright, that is it. That is as simple as it gets, guys. All 3 methods I have shown you work very well. It really depends on what you would like to do with Callisto and how you'd like to do it. So I think that's going to just about wrap up this guide. You know, I hope this guide has been very useful to you guys. If you liked the video, please leave a thumbs up down below. All of your support and the thumbs up, they really help videos spread around. They help popularity and they help other people see the guides. If you have not done so yet, please tap that subscribe button on your way out. All of your support means a ton to me. I think I just said that. But that is going to do it, guys. I will see you guys on the next video. Take it easy, everybody.